Oh, look at this. Good morning, jerk offs. I got our names set different. You're Josh today.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Light It Up. Light It Up. Once I get through these sponsors, I'm gonna share it everywhere. So today's sponsors are RPW. I actually right here. Yeah, I'm ready for it. Ruthless Pro Wrestling is a rising independent professional wrestling promotion out of the Midwest featuring hard hitting, high flying action in the high world of deathmatch wrestling. So you can check them out at rpw.com, ruthlesspro.com, or on Facebook or Instagram. Pro Wrestling Edge. Pro Wrestling Edge is a podcast, a wrestling podcast, and it's the edge you've been looking for. Contact them at Pro Wrestling Edge Pod at gmail.com on Facebook or pwepod.com. You got IWR, Insane Wrestling Revolution, the hottest wrestling promotion in the Midwest, ran by former WWE and ECW and current Impact superstar Rhino and Monroe Pop Fest's Gary Paulette. You can go check out their newest, go to purplepass.com /IWR, and you'll find their newest event. Then we have Amaya's. Amaya's Fresh Mexican Grill is committed to bringing the traditional flavors and tastes of Southwest and certain regions of Mexico home. And everything is cooked fresh by Mom and Tino. What's Tino say? Oh, everything's cooked fresh or his mama's going to kill him. 8 Mile Vodka, the official sponsors of the Detroit Pistons. They won the 2022 Best Vodka in the World Award. And Mikey Shoemaker, 1/3 of the ownership, is one of my good personal friends. You can check them out at 8milevodka.com. Little Brown Jug. The Little Brown Jug was established in 1977 by Jim Stifler, offering great food, excellent service. And in 2014, my buddy Jeff Ott, a longtime employee of the Little Brown Jug, purchased the business and continues to carry on this proud tradition today. Come on and see why people call us the friendliest place in town. Little Brown Jug, maybe.com, or on Facebook, Maybe's Finest. Monroe Nutrition. Thank you, Monroe Nutrition.
Yeah.
They are open Fridays, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturdays, well, Monday through Friday, not just Friday, sorry. Saturday, 9 to 3, and Sunday, 11 to 3. Healthy shakes, smoothies, energy tea. Facebook.com. And let me show you real quick. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We got a beautiful drink right here from Monroe Nutrition. Appreciate you. Mugsy's Sports Grill, right? Where are we at over here? Mugsy's is the best sports bar and restaurant in Monroe, Michigan. They serve up piping hot pizzas, wings, ribs, burgers, and more. Mugsy's is the place in Monroe to go to to see the big game or race on Sundays. Be sure to bring the whole family. MugsySportsBar.com. And then Monroe Sport Center has been serving Monroe County community for 60 years. We are a family operated business that is here for the customers' every demand. We have a fully stocked snack bar and connected to one of the hottest bars in Monroe, which is Mugsy's. Okay, and that is our sponsors for today. And now we bring in this very special lady, Lady Spellbreaker.
Good morning, beautiful.
Hello. Good morning, beautiful souls. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, I'm doing great. We got some comments in here real quick. Farming to Addictions Recovery says hello.
Hello.
CSL, good morning. Good morning, Glitter World. Good morning, Kristen. Squirrel says she's living the dream. Anthony says hi. Keithy says hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Monday.
A beautiful Monday.
Boys got the knowledge for the days. Boys got knowledge for days. Buys. Hello, Brain Jerk family. Lady Spellbreaker said in the chat. See, everybody's saying hi. Good morning, John Drake. Nerdy Designs in the house. You need any graphic designs, business cards, anything, posters, logos. You want your car to be detailed with your logo. John Drake's the guy to talk to. Nerdy Designs.
Absolutely. We were just talking you up yesterday.
Jaden Crawley. I forget how old he is, but he's like 13, 14. He's taller than me. That's true. It's true. School must be out today, huh? No power still. So Monroe's pretty much been out of power for the last 5 days or so, 6 days.
I didn't experience it, so I'm on a different timeline.
Yeah. Stephanie's had power this whole time.
But I also didn't have my car for 4 weeks, and I finally got that back. So
Yeah. All right. This is good to see everybody this morning.
Sometimes they show if something happens to everybody in a town and it doesn't happen to somebody else, then maybe you were like a select protected type of.
I think the universe knew I've been handling quite a bit this last month, and she's like, no, I'm not going to do that to you. No. It's time for you to come back to life, baby.
We'll give you a free pass this time.
Yeah. Yep. I might have just literally broke. I don't know if I would have made it through.
So we have Lady Spellbreaker on today because what was that, yesterday or the day before? We were talking on Squirrel's channel and we really got into some very good conversation. And I was like, Lady Spellbreaker would be a perfect to have on the show and just chat about Lady Spellbreaker things, right? Because one, you and Stephanie right here are on the exact same wavelength.
I can feel that even when you said, she says, babe, will you come breathe with me? That's what you said in your channel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes,
I
like I said, this
do
last month
breath
has been
work
crazy.
before I get out of bed. My
Yeah.
breath work is like I get up and I use the restroom and I get right back in my bed and I do 20 minutes of deep breath.
Same here. I
Just
love
inhaling that good pranayama.
Mm-hmm.
How do we start our days? And I kind of do a prayer and meditation then, like I'm calling upon my angels.
Mm-hmm.
And thanking them.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Well, yes.
First and foremost.
Yep.
Before you even ask to receive anything else.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely. And so I've actually fall off on doing morning yoga and things like that. But I think connecting with our body is so important.
Absolutely. Connecting with our body, connecting
Really
with the divine.
Be here, by the way.
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, what was that?
I'm grateful to be here. Thanks.
Oh, I'm grateful you're here.
Because I don't go up on a lot of panels a lot because I feel like, I don't know. So when I get invited somewhere, I feel really blessed and grateful because sometimes I pop up somewhere and I feel like some people aren't ready for my information.
Yeah, same.
She goes through the same thing.
Yeah, especially because I'm looking forward to continuing to meet everyone on the online community. I've been just working locally, and it's so hard in town to find people who are able to, who are practicing, who have the language, let alone are actually practicing. And so it's nice. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here connecting with you. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to be here because you guys are really on the same belief. Like we were talking about beliefs, you were talking about answer forming
oh yeah,
on Shirley's chat the other day.
Yep, and I gave her a little bit of that, of how storing energy and all that stuff. Yep. I let her know a little bit of what we talked about.
I'm personally very familiar with the concept, but I'm not familiar with where you guys were at in conversation. I didn't get too much detail. So
he was basically talking about anything. He was said cancer in particular that day, but that we could manifest illnesses in our body with our own thoughts.
Just as well as healing.
Anger. By speaking onto myself that I have complex PTSD, and then I'll make an excuse for why I am the way I am for the rest of my life. Instead of changing my behaviors. If the way I'm acting is even pushing people away from me. Like we have the power. That's one of the things I don't go on a lot of panels a lot because I lost my only daughter on September the 9th of 2020, my only child.
So sorry.
Thank you. And I realize a lot of people don't even pause for that to sink in, that I shared with them something that happened to me that really changed my life. And so I've actually really been connecting to the spirit world more deeply, and working with angels. Even I went to 2 ayahuasca retreats right before my daughter passed away, and they told me I would connect with my ancestors and my spirit guides. So the way this is all happening and the power of our words and everything I even prayed for at that ayahuasca retreat just is mind blowing. So I appreciate you even having me here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And here's the thing, it's like ever since I've started to introduce Stephanie to you all, it's like almost like she's like, I found my crowd. You've showed me my crowd. And actually, Lady Spellbreaker, you're one of the, obviously I told her about all of you guys, but you're one of the people that I was excited for her to actually sit down and talk to, because of you guys are almost the same, very similar minds and wavelengths. And I just for you two, like I'm gonna sit back a lot today because you two having the conversation, that's really why what I wanted here. You know?
Thank you so much. And when we find someone that clicks like that, it's like boom, a light goes up. He's speaking my language.
Yes, yes. You feel just so seen, so heard, so understood. And
yes.
Not that we need external validation, but at the same time, we are human. And so it's like that validation hits just right sometimes.
Yeah. And that's why, like you said, finding people in your area. Except for my yoga instructor at the Women's Domestic Violence Center I go to, she's the only one who speaks chakras and energy and addictions to. I teach addiction to YouTube, and people don't really want to hear about that.
Just addiction in general, catching yourself, being mindful about any vice, anything that you're being called to, anything that you find yourself not being able to control the urge to do anything outside of just being still and being present. I think that's just being mindful of anything. But yes, especially YouTube, social media, all of it.
What's up, Tony? What's up, NJ?
I went through it's a few years back.
Cheers, Jess.
A couple years of some deep healing and getting involved, and I was doing a lot of really deep spiritual work, and I'm so glad for those few years when I was able to really connect to the divine in that way, and really anchor in a very high baseline vibrational frequency. And I was doing a lot of channel work, and then something just told me it's time to play in the real world again. It's like, because there was a part of me, I was like, no, I'm so glad I did all this healing work and I let all this energy run through me, but here I am and I'm ready to just play, and it really experienced this, what it feels like to be human. And I feel like I was playing too much in the spirit realm for a little while. All good things, all with love, nothing but love and healing. And
good morning, Ricky.
But there was a part where I was just like, okay, now it's time to take, I don't want to hide from the world. I want to take what I know and go out and share it. And that's where I'm at right now. So it's like, I'm getting back into, like I was just telling Josh, I'm like, I really want to get back into channeling, because that is when I had the best language to help, and so I'm like, I'm trying to get back into that space now that I'm back online. So like for the last year, I kind of took my time off, like I said, from, definitely stay connected, praying every day and still practicing energy work, but just not as deep as I was. And now I want to get back into playing with that middle ground so I can bring it to the people. So I'm definitely excited for these conversations.
I'm looking forward to it too, because do you do oracle cards or anything?
I do. That's one thing it's one of those things in this last year, as I had less questions in life, more just okay with where things are and just a full trust and surrender. I pull them on occasion, especially like new moon, full moon, just when I want to really set some intentions or know what's, but that's something I was telling him. I said, I think I might start pulling a daily card online. So, but yeah, what do you have any on you right now? I meant to actually grab a deck. You want to
Good
pull us
Lord.
one?
Boxes surrounding me.
Yeah. I know. I told him, I was like, I have so many decks. I was like, I would want to take pull a few and maybe do a quick poll and let people choose,
Yeah.
what energy they're feeling called to.
I'd like her to go do however long it is, like Manic Mouth or you get online and pull oracle cards for everybody. I'd like her to do that from time to time too.
I think
that's awesome. See, I started doing them for myself. And the oracle card, the readings were just so darn good. I just couldn't keep it all to myself.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe somebody else needs to hear this.
Yeah.
And I was getting attacked by
Thanks
Christians.
for coming in, Gemma.
And I almost put my cards away. But some of my videos got shared on Facebook before I lost my old one. All over the world so fast. It had so many views. I was blown away that all these people were gathering for that. And I even got attacked by some of the tarot card readers after my daughter passed away. I was a moderator for a 24,000 subscriber channel of tarot card. And it's crazy in that chat room. And I had to turn away from her so really I could tap into myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly dug into my midheaven is Scorpio. So psychology and addiction and human behavior is actually my passion. I'm really into 13 sign astrology too. So I do new moon and full moon readings, and I do a collective reading, not where I draw one for each person. I gotta go get one for MJ. Good Lord. I told him I would do. See, and when people ask me for one while I'm doing a collective reading, I just do one for everybody and see what comes out of a probably 15, 20 decks.
Mm-hmm.
And I do 1 or 2 cards. I do heal yourself cards, shadow work, kind of facing things that we normally run from.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking addictions, like I was smoking cigarettes last year.
Well,
and I'm writing healthier routines and things into my life to be able. I can't do it the way Manic does because I think I'm pulling in each person's energy too quickly. Exactly. You will understand that. Maybe other people don't.
Yep.
But every person's comment on the chat is energy. Every person is energy. And so I feel like my brain, because I'm healing shock, I found my daughter cold and blue on this floor behind me. She passed away right here on the floor. And so when there's too much stimulation going on, that's why it's easier for me to do a collective reading and have my camera pointed at the table, just for me where I'm at in my life. Right?
Exactly. Because we can get a little too scattered trying to bounce in and out of all these energies. And then we're also taking it on ourselves, we have to, our energetic boundaries have to be mad strong for that. But also I'm all for the collective reading. A couple years ago, I wasn't very strategic with how I was showing up. I was just showing up with, an inspired action, and I was showing up and doing collective readings often. And I really resonate with that because as much as, yes, it's all individual healing work and, developing more into our own self-awareness, but as a whole, we are all connected to the same energy field. And in order for us to really, make the sustainable change that we want to make, it's important for people to be aware of the collective energy that's constantly changing and shifting. And we are all experiencing these energy shifts simultaneously, but we just experience them differently depending on what's going on within our own energy field. So yeah, just knowing what the collective energy looks like.
Good morning, Coach K. I hope you're doing well. He was not feeling so well yesterday. He had to go to the hospital.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
He thinks he has appendicitis. I haven't heard back from you, and I hope you're doing well, bro.
Yeah, I was praying for you. I told Josh, I said, tell him, he said that you were talking about, you might be going to, I said, tell him, we don't play with this. Get there right now. You not play with that.
So, what do you have that book that you were showing me the other day by you?
Yep.
Stephanie was curious what it was.
You're right. My favorite, most resourceful books are literally within arm's reach.
I grabbed a stack as soon as he told me who was coming in and what what might be on offer. I literally grabbed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 books. Oh, nope. Sorry. 13 books. I love to use my books also as oracles. That was one way I was like just really getting into trusting life in divine and timing and just knowing, okay, as I was constantly cross-referencing, it's like, what do I need to see within this book? What message, what piece of information do I need to see to become my better self today, you know? And so I'll flip through books and just stop at any given page and see what I need to see and then share that message for the day, you know?
That's exactly what I do.
I love it.
I told you guys. I told ya.
I almost died in a fire 4 years ago.
Morning, Ryan.
I went up by Chicago and stayed in someone else's trailer in Joliet in the city, right in a real awful neighborhood. It was Earth Day. I remember it so clearly. And I went in there and I picked up a Bible off of the microwave that was already there. And it was dusty and greasy because somebody had been cooking by it. I cleaned it off and flipped it open to Matthew 24, the second coming of Christ. And how and I relate it now as Christ consciousness is awake.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's exactly what I do. I flip open to see where I land and see what Spirit has to say to me.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned Christ consciousness because that is like the root of a lot of my message that I have definitely found. And I actually have a couple different Christ consciousness meditations that I've developed that I still need to record, but that I intend to bring over time and just start sharing it. Josh over here has been helping me get all the behind the scenes digital stuff connected so I can start popping on my own lives individually and just sharing meditations, oracles, just whatever.
Which, by the way, sorry to interrupt, we are also live on Vibe on Purpose's YouTube today.
Oh,
so
we are. I forgot
that
about
is
that.
her YouTube.
Yeah.
That
All
her
right.
own personal.
That's gonna grow
Vibe
pretty extensively real soon.
Vibe.on.purpose.
Yeah, we'll toss it in the comments real quick. Put it in the comments. There's not much going on. There's nothing going on over there yet. It's the YouTube I've been using for years, but I've actually started a channel that I've been running. So, and then I'll throw on our IRL too. We're starting a in real life channel, just Josh and I in real life. Again, nothing going on over there yet, but it's going to pick up. So if you want to go ahead and give it a follow so you can be the first to see when we do pop on randomly.
So this, I don't know if you have anything else on your YouTube, or is this going to be like the first thing?
There might be like an old video.
Okay.
There might be something.
And also while we're at it, go ahead go to the Boss Talk YouTube also, and if you want to catch up on some of those shows. But back to this show. So what was that book called?
This one is actually a companion book to, this is like a pocket. It's not a pocket size, but it's a smaller, easy reference to You Can Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. You can look up her book on YouTube and listen to it. She does Embracing Your Inner Child and Reprogramming Your Thought.
Conscious, yep.
Yep. And so this one breaks down like if you have cancer, because that's what we went to that day.
Yep.
This is what it said about cancer. Cancer develops from deep hurt, long-standing resentment, and deep secret or grief eating away at the self.
Yes.
Carrying hatreds and what's the use? Now, I know that grief is stored in the heart chakra, and we tend to, I'm a grieving mother, so I specialize now in grief. I've got grief books about the unspeakable loss, child loss, the one that catches in my throat when I start to say it, and the way it could suffocate me if I hold on to these feelings. So I literally, you might catch me crying when I'm live on you. And
Let it out.
sometimes I just let it flow.
Mm-hmm. That's what we have to do.
That's natural when
let it move. Whatever you need to do. Whatever you need to do. Absolutely.
you wouldn't believe how many people have said, "Oh, I don't like it when you cry. Smile, Lady Spillbreaker." And I understand that those are tough and hard emotions, that it drops the vibration.
It does, but I think it's also
talking about good stuff, right?
Yeah.
But that's just what life is.
Exactly. And that you're offering them medicine, whether they recognize it or not, because it's important for everyone to be aware of, if yes, we do affect people's energy, but I think that person also has a responsibility within themselves to practice their own energetic boundaries and be able to hold compassion and offer love in return rather than, oh, you're bringing me down.
Yeah.
Because there is an opportunity. And obviously, there's people who that's all they do is complain and they're stuck in victim mindset, which again, I mean, I still love and hold compassion for you because I get it. But I also, those are the kind of people, over time, you kind of have to hold that boundary. But
that old saying, right? You can only help people that want to be helped. You can try your hardest to help someone that doesn't, but you're only wasting your time. But it's, I juggle with, it's not a full waste because at least you're getting your message out there. And maybe if they hear it from somebody else after they've heard it for you, it clicks in.
You planted the seed, they heard it from someone else, and it got a little, they watered it a little, they talked to someone else,
boys.
It sprouts, and then they go through their own shit, and they're like, oh my gosh, now it all makes sense.
What's up, Island Boys? Thanks for coming in.
Gemma's doing great. Gemma down in the chat. She's my subscriber. She's in the UK. And she does do autism awareness. And I have noticed so many similarities. I shared this out to the members of my channel because I have a monetized channel. So I have and so I shared it out. And so they're probably popping in here. And I shared it out on both of my channels, actually. And so I'm learning by listening to Gemma about sensitivities with her autism for overstimulation and how closely the similarities are for me with trauma and loud noises and overstimulation. That's why I really teach so much about doing breath work and stepping away from the constant chat rooms. And when our body is in action, I actually work with all of these charts I've bought off of Amazon. This is a chakra.
I have that same one.
Are the Sephriots, the tree of life.
Yeah.
And then there's a nervous system chart that tells everything our body does from depression here all the way to where you collapse from your heart going way too fast in panic mode. And how do we regulate ourselves with even breath work? When you said, she says, "Oh, will you come breathe with me, babe?" I just busted up laughing on the other side of the screen because I've been giving people these breathing meditations and I share it in my chat almost every freaking time I go live and nobody's doing them. And I said, I'm giving you guys something that's helping you calm down and you're smoking yourself silly and you can't sleep and you're running around chat rooms, going in constant action mode. And you won't go take 20 minutes to do some breath work. Now, I've seen you all over YouTube all day long. If I pop in anywhere, how come I can take the time to do it, but no one else could? And so you are so right with you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Absolutely.
You can plant the seed, but you can't make them listen. It's really up to the universe. After we give it to somebody, we don't have to keep repeating ourselves.
And at the same time, it's a lot of information to take in. It really is, because, you guys have been on this journey for however long you guys have been on it, and you still constantly learning. Still don't even know half of it.
No, gosh, I feel like a baby.
And then you got me, who's like newer on this journey. I've always been there in my heart, but to learning the knowledge, like I feel like a little kid that doesn't know anything. But then when you guys speak, it's like, that's what was in my head.
Yeah. See, and that's
that's what my thoughts were, but I couldn't put it into words.
And that's just it, is like, because when we talk about it openly, we're doing is reminding people of what we already know. Our internal being already knows all this. Our highest self. I don't like that term highest self. I prefer more whole self. And there's higher and lower expressions of self, but your higher expression of yourself already knows these things, and we're just reminding. And it's like, just like when every time I learn something, I feel like it's like he just said, I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. That makes this make more sense. And go ahead with what you were saying before that.
Island Boy says, I'm not sure if it's because of who I am or if it's my mental illness, but sometimes I could be I could be live, but nobody comes in. I got over 1,000 subscribers. Good thing I have self-love.
Self-love is the root of
that
all
happens.
love.
Depending on the day, I might have 3 of you guys come in on this live, but then there's days where there's 30 plus of you guys in here, and there is no rhyme or reason to it. It is what,
Yeah. And I think a lot of it, I honestly, with that Island Boys there, I've got 1,300 subscribers. I can end up with 30 likes, but my viewer retention rate, because on my Oracle channel, now listen, I'm going to do a study. I study human behavior, and I study psychology and abnormal human behavior. So I'm going to see how fast my fun hula hoop, LED lights, singing and dancing channel grows compared to the 4 years I've been on Lady Spellbreaker, and it took me 2.5 years to reach 1,000 subscribers. But half of them don't stick around and listen to all of the amazing information I just shared. And Josh, thank you for saying that, because you might be right. Sometimes it's too much information. When I speak astrology, I feel like I'm speaking alien language. People are just like, what in the heck is she talking about?
But the right ones who are ready to learn, they'll sit back. There might only be a couple of them.
And even, look at us, right? Brain jerk. Going back to when T-Rup was here, we're wild. We do wild shit, but yet we do have this message. And for you guys that have literally come in and are here every time we go live, you guys get that. You all have stuck around just to see beyond the surface, right? And that's what a lot of people don't do. They see the surface and they make their decision there. The whole don't judge a book by its cover. And that's one thing that I have absolutely learned is I will not judge a book by its cover. No matter, I go into your guys' channels, I come see who you are before I actually promote you guys.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if you come in here every day and I don't align with you, I appreciate your love, but I'm not going to promote you either.
I don't share people out if I haven't felt their energy and checked their channel. I've been deceived and literally cyber stalked and bullied. It's in my description box that this is not a dating site. I'm a grieving mother trying to deliver a message. If you don't want it, go on to a different channel.
Yep.
Exactly.
Period. Yep. It's that simple. I promise you, I will not be in your chat bothering you, because I have nothing better to do. I am really over here doing a lot of things and working on myself.
Yes. So as we talk about working on ourselves, yes, Kristen, I was thinking the same thing, because I had a few things I wanted to add to that myself.
Dive all the way.
We're going to dive all the way into the book. Let's talk about the emotions in our body and how they get stuck in the different ways they manifest into different illnesses and mind, body, soul, and like the different, I wish I would have grabbed, there's one book I wish I would have grabbed. Dang it. No, it's not. But yeah, just the different energy bodies, but just in general, the diseases and the illnesses that manifest through trapped emotion in general. We can start there. What do you want to add to that?
I've been doing trauma informed yoga, and actually at the Women's Domestic Violence Center, They're all starting the book, The Body Keeps the Score.
That's the one I asked him if
She
you were
did.
talking about.
She sure
I have
did.
the workbook to that too.
Good morning,
I
Mono.
keep reading it on my channel. I'll tell you what happened. My ex, who I was in a relationship with for 9 years, and I thought he was the love of my life, popped back in after I left him after 3 years ago. What happened at the ayahuasca retreat is I took back my power, and I stood up and I walked away. And I said, you're on your own. And I left his butt because talking to me badly. He treated me like dirt. So I think of all of our emotions, we could choke words back. When we swallow.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
All right.
She might have got a phone call if she's on her.
Thank you, Kristen. I can see you.
Lady Spellbreaker, there you are.
I am so sorry. There is a tornado warning. Can you hear me or see me?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a warning on my phone. Oh my God, I just about had a panic attack. It says a tornado warning. Take shelter now in a basement or in an interior room on the lowest floor. In a sturdy building if you're outdoors. Hold on, Bus. Good God.
Yeah, go check things out. What the heck?
Hold on a second. Yeah, let me go
Does
check.
anybody have any while we wait for Lady
Here, oh.
Spellbreaker?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yeah, while we wait on her, does anybody have any questions that maybe I could dive into and expand on a little bit within the emotional realm and illness or anything at all, specifically about energy, but really anything.
MJ says, Island Boy, you sound like me. I do the exact same thing all the time. Share out people's streams that don't have many subscribers. I've done it for years. So going back to what Island Boy said. Oh wait, that wasn't it. There it is. He said, I've fallen asleep in chats that I've been the only one there because I don't want to leave them alone. And that, I feel that. And that means like one person watching or normal, even me, right? I appreciate whether there's one person in here or whether there's 17,000 people in here. I operate as if there's one person or 17,000 people in here every time. I highly enjoy when there's many people in here because the conversation keeps going and I don't have to sit here and just blah, blah, But that's so everything's good. What's up, Simply? It was pretty windy here too. As your tornado thing was coming in, it sounded like there was a tornado rolling through town.
Really? Yeah. And you can feel it. Like we did have a tornado here right after I almost died in a fire. A tornado came through, and when we moved to a new house and ripped 100-year-old trees out of the ground. So
Gemma says emotions are complicated feeling for people like myself on the autism spectrum. We struggle to identify what emotions we are in.
She just did a video, Gemma did, about emotions and autism.
Mm-hmm.
And I think emotions are a funny thing for everyone, not just people with autism.
Yeah.
But
that's what makes the human experience what it is, really.
Yeah, we forget we're emotional beings. And for a lot of people, their go-to emotion is anger. And in my lifestyle redirection class in prison, we learned about anger is the iceberg above the water and all the underlying feelings that when anger's coming out, what are we really feeling?
Exactly.
And
it's a whole root system.
Yeah. With psychologists, I psychologist for grief and abuse trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching her about the chakras. She's got a Western mind, so I'm teaching her about Eastern healing.
Yeah, I love it.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And learning, like, she can't believe the books I have. We share books, and we have a psychologist.
Yeah, but you know what's beautiful about that is I'm sure you guys are both building so many bridges between both of the languages.
Yes.
Because,
Yep.
There
And
is-
so,
or
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, or just, being able to curate your own way of utilizing both.
Sirens going off.
Sirens are going.
And it's the first Tuesday of the month, and right before I came on your show, the siren was going off as a warning. But
Monday. Oh, is it Tuesday where you're at? No, it's got to be Monday.
wait, it's Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Illinois.
Wait a minute. Are you in Australia?
Our analytical side of our mind goes out, and this body keeps the scorebook when we experience adrenaline mode. This is funny that we're talking about this, and there's a tornado siren. Because I literally just didn't know what day it was. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should at least go downstairs.
Maybe just in case.
I'm not the kind of girl that lives in fear. When they told me to get under my mats for a tornado drill in prison, I said, you know what? If a tornado comes, then it's my time to go. But the tornado sirens don't usually go off. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it a little bit.
It could be. Are we getting close?
Well, we could do that at any time.
And it's almost real eerie outside, like it's not raining, but it's thundering and lightning and very, very windy.
MJ says one of my favorites at one with the earth is the gold barefoot in the grass, imagining roots growing out of my feet and into the earth, making me at one with the earth. I hope that, yes, dude. And that's a very important that a lot of people don't do. They go their whole lives without their feet touching the earth. And that once it starts getting warm, sometimes even during there's no snow, but once it's warm, I don't wear socks, I don't wear shoes unless I have to. My feet are in the dirt.
Me too. I was doing Pilates at the beach in the sand, and the way the sand like hugs your hand, you know how your foot goes around, and it's, oh my gosh, you can just balance so easy. When I was in California, that's what I was doing, Pilates out there. I love no shoes. The winter, I think maybe we go through, maybe scattered with the lack of sunlight. And the school's right behind me, so that siren's really loud. But when we're earthing, that's so funny. This Jesus Revolution movie that just came out, all the hippies were barefooted when they showed up at the church. It's funny that you talk about that, because they were washing their feet before they would let them come in the church, because they were going to get the carpet dirty all at church. Because they were
them damn hippies.
Frasier. It was Kelsey Grammer. That movie's a good movie. If you go see it, it's at the theater right now. It's called Jesus Revolution. It's talking about the churches opening their doors to the hippies, to the drug addicts, to the people that are normally left outside the church. And it's a true story too. So it was good. I went and saw it with my mom Friday.
Which is absolutely.
And that's exactly what they're doing, is earthing, grounding to the earth. And I think I do 13 sign astrology. And if anybody wants their natal chart, I'll get you your natal chart and kind of point you in the right direction on how to read your own chart.
I have studied a little bit, enough to where I can read my own, and I've practiced reading for people, and I do follow daily. But I would love your take on my chart. If you would love, if you have some time and you want to run that for me, I would absolutely love that.
Yeah, I will. And
Yeah.
all I need, if anybody wants one done, they have to send me an email, and my email is 13signhealing@gmail.com, or I can get a hold of you on.
Perfect. Or just toss it in the comments when we're done.
Yeah. And
what
all I need is your birth time, date, and location. The city, not the hospital. I don't need your address or first and last name or nothing like that. Just your birth date, time, and location.
So I know that from 12 to 13, my sign changes.
Yes.
I'm in that little window there where my sign changes, my sun sign anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about the 13 signs. I know that that's I don't know if it's newer or not, but it's newer to me.
Yeah.
But I know more about the 12 than 13, so I'm very open to learning about that.
It'll shift you, most people, backwards. Some people stay the same, because the way I do it is I look at the actual size of each constellation and the fact that they're not an even 30 degrees apart. The constellation of Pisces is much bigger than Aries. And the sign I teach about is Ophiuchus, which is the sign between Scorpio and Sagittarius. And the sun passes through Ophiuchus from November 29th till December 17th. And it's ruled by the planet Jupiter and even connected to the earth and water elements feminine. Very powerful sign.
Okay.
Like I haven't seen to the element.
To December.
What was it again?
What was the dates again?
For the
November 29th to December 17th.
Okay.
29th, December 17th. Okay. I would remain in my sun sign if it pushes everyone back a little bit. What do you think I am?
I moved from Gemini to Taurus.
So yeah, you would go back. What's your date?
I'm January 16th. I'm a Capricorn and sun. I highly resonate with my Aries moon. How do you read the moon signs and like all the other planets?
The
In a
moon,
similar fashion?
the moon sometimes shifts back. Sometimes it stays the same. My moon stayed the same. It might be just a different degree.
Mm-hmm.
And our progress chart. So
Thanks for coming
in sun chart, it shifts us backwards slightly, like into the next sign. But I look at our whole chart. I look at where our Mercury is, because that's the way we communicate. Mercury rules communication. So if your Mercury's in Pisces, you're going to communicate differently than if your Mercury's in Aries. Your communication will be more fiery if your Mercury's in Aries. It'll be more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Depending where everything else is in your chart. So I look at like the whole
Cancer
of it all. And I think you stay a Capricorn.
Yeah, I would. If everything pushes back a little bit, yep.
Yeah, you'd be, because my nephew's January 12th.
Which I highly resonate with. So
MJ's given out a tip, and I've actually heard this tip before. He said this won't work for everybody, but the power of taste works well for anxiety. He says he uses hot sauce. He starts to get anxious, and he puts hot sauce in his mouth, and it takes his anxiety away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That will, because it even, if you do that with a lemon, if somebody's having a panic attack and you just shove a lemon in their mouth, it's going to shock their senses.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the same aspect with hot sauce. It would bring you back to the moment.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say, because it will bring you back to the moment, just like gratitude.
Well, even
baby.
like in a lot of the Native American cultures back in the day, they would send their mentally ill, mentally sick people out into the woods and live this life in the cold. And if you make it back during the winter, you most likely you're healed.
Yeah.
A lot of times. And now I don't know the science behind it, but I will say I have at one point in my life, I did exactly that. And I was healed. It healed me. Being out in nature, it healed me. It got my mind right. It made me see that I need to be responsible for my own actions, and it's my fault I'm in this position or that position. And no matter if, this person was late, so that's why I would. Well, that you still have to hold responsibility of your own. I try not to put blame on anybody else. I try to look at, okay, where could I have done better to help this situation?
because next time it's like, okay, so what can I do for myself to not, and unfortunately it teaches us to become a little less dependent on people, or maybe like less trusting, but it becomes more, we become more trusting in ourselves because we're like, okay, what do I need to do differently next time to make sure I'm not late, no matter what anyone else is doing with their life, like what you were just saying. And also throwing yourself out in nature like that, and you literally just surrounded, you or just sitting there, you're reminded of literally being held and supported within just being. All your resources are provided for out there. You can literally just sit there and with no invisible checklists and nothing on your plate and be, and you're fine, and you are fully held and supported. Like, we are abundant in these resources, and when you throw yourself out in the middle of them, you're just like, oh, this is
Morning,
really
Brandon.
all we need. Why do we get so caught up in our mind and making everything so much more important than what it really is?
Accountability. Not a lot of people have that. And
Yeah.
and
I
I
talked about
feel like that's so important.
I
You
just
can't
talked
grow.
about it on the Oracle card reading last night. I actually got out my Codependence Anonymous book and was talking all about codependency and how the 12 steps set us free because we make amends for all the stuff we did. We take responsibility and we stop making excuses. It's a life changer. Totally. I totally agree.
Real quick, I want to ask,
Gemma.
yeah, Gemma, real quick. I just want to come back to this because
Can I read it real
yeah.
quick? It's Gemma says, because it's the sensory and auditory processing. It's draining for me. I get exhausted really quickly when my emotions overwhelm me.
I wanted to come back to this because as much as I've dove into understanding the vibrational frequency nature of emotions and how to just how energy governs the body in general, but especially I love talking emotions and then also relating to healing and then relational and all the things. But I never really, I guess, took the time to understand it coming from the experience being on the spectrum. And I'm curious if you, I would love, I'm gonna actually gonna come back and follow you as well, Gemma, because I would like to see more of your journey. I see you are on a journey. So that was gonna be my next thing, is not that it's my job to, unsolicit advice, but I am here for a reason. And I'm just curious. I see you're on a journey. So I would assume that you are already taking the time to work on somatic breath work and, really honor your nervous system and writing and journaling and the things that will help you process. So I'm assuming you are already, on that journey, but I just wanted to bring in the few tips I would suggest. And that also leads into a little piece from, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ram Dass. Are you familiar? I'm a philosophy whore. I love philosophy.
I don't know that name.
So Ram Dass, this book is called Just Be Here Now. And I just wanted to read this.
Gemma real quick says, I'm having a lot of support from Lady Spellbreaker. I'm doing meditation classes.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I'm going to follow you because I want to see more of your journey. And I'm going to take that's going to be like my little bit of homework after this too, because I would like to expand my awareness and language surrounding
real
that.
Quick before she reads,
because it is so common.
I want to say thank you to Lane's Pizza for coming in, Brandon Lane.
Good morning, Brandon.
And we have Eat My Treats in the house. Thank you. I never know how to say your name, and I'm so sorry.
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne, I think is what it is.
Cheyenne.
But I should know this, seeing how we've worked together many times. But I apologize. But I think it's Cheyenne. I know your name until I see it, and then my whole brain goes, duh. Yes.
Somebody get my email. I don't think I can do an email in the chat with that orange. And like Shirley has one. If you can put it for Kristen, I could do her chart for her. She's an Ophiuchus sun. So I've got some links I could send her about Ophiuchus if she wants to learn. If she feels like she's not a fiery Sagittarius, there might be a reason for it. Because she's an Ophiuchus. There's a lot of people who fall into the Sagittarius under tropical astrology, but they never really felt like a Sagittarius their whole life. So yeah, if she wants it, my email is 13signhealing with the number 13 signhealing@gmail.com. She's pretty fiery. You might have a fiery moon sign or a rising sign. Your rising sign really matters. Thank you. Thank you for putting that in there.
Yep. MJ says, really happy you met this lady, Brain Jerks. This is my passion. So I'm really glad I met both of these ladies.
I'm super glad.
What's
to
up,
have met you.
JD? Jeff Dotson in the house. Good to see you. So you have
Oh, yeah. So we happened to talk today a lot about, like, he talked about hiding in the woods, and we're talking about, sitting still and finding your breath and your presence. And like I said, I grew up about 13 books, and I wasn't sure which one I was going to pull to, but this just happens to be a page I opened to, and I think it fits perfect, kind of what we're talking about today. So sit back and relax. Maybe take a sip of tea. Okay. So you don't have to be, or you don't have to. I'm going to start this again. Okay. Okay. So you don't have to have that urge, that desire, that unfulfilled thing. Just let it be. Just be. Be more. What's holding you back? Your thoughts? Huh? You've got to give them up. Just ego planning. What are you doing? Planning for the future? Well, it's all right now. But later? Forget it, baby. That's later. Now is now. Are you going to be here or not? It's as simple as that. So
moral of the story, live in the moment.
Yes. And that's where we can just let go of so much of the anxiety, all these invisible to-do lists and things that we need to be fulfilling for ourselves and expectations of others and all this shit, man. I know it's easier said than done when we have a lot of trapped energy and a lot of trauma. But this is just, if we care at all about how we feel and how we're experiencing this, what it is to be human, and we want to just be better humans, like, we can absolutely always come back to the present moment and just look within and get a little bit more insight about our next step forward, like what we can really do. We already know.
I will say sometimes, if I'm being self-accountable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I live in the moment too much. Sometimes it's like, oh, that was, like, I should have been planning for this. Or then you start thinking about what you could have did better because now that time's passed. But I feel like my mind lives in the now a little too much.
So here's where this is very powerful, because that's a beautiful thing. And now the tools, though, because I'm the same way. This last month threw me for a loop. I started getting a little bit anxious again, but for very, very real reasons. But being so much in the present moment is a beautiful thing when we are truly honoring the power of our thought and our heart within the present moment. Because if we are able to still not look ahead, like we have this whole plan and everything has to play out some certain way, and when it doesn't, we're thinking too much about the future and what is or isn't going right. But an ideal vision of what we want to see, but more or less how we want to feel in that place. And then if we can stay in the present moment with just an idea of what we want, when holding from the heart space, knowing the feeling that we want to feel. And but if you can do that while being in the present moment without overthinking everything, that's the power. That's what's powerful. So it's okay to be in the present moment with at least some kind of, but you are constantly
that's this
planning
paper,
and working
this
towards
get better
something new.
list over here. I don't have a to-do list. I have a get better list. And that's how I stay out of the present.
We're going to restructure the language on that a little bit, only because,
No,
words are powerful. And you say get better as if like something's wrong.
No, I said get better like you can always get better.
Can we make it like an ascension list or something?
Maybe your list can say that.
Maybe like, I'm going to call it ascension immersion. We're going to immerse ourselves to ascension.
You told me to give you homework. That's what your list will say.
Okay.
At the top. Your ascension list.
I do give my people homework. I tell them to make a list and see, like, even I think you're right on the power of now. Like, I think it irritates my mom though, because like yesterday it was sunny, and those days are far and few at this time of year. So I just embraced it and I threw on my rainbow roller skates and fearlessly fly out the door and go 5 miles around the park. And my mom is like, you need a helmet and you should really get some knee pads and be careful. And I'm just like, you guys are a lot more scared than I am.
Yeah.
Maybe all the people who can't get on roller skates just start running their mouths. And they should probably stop putting all their fears on me. And I went and I fell the first time I put them on. I haven't skated in years. And I went right down the driveway so fast I busted my tailbone. But we keep getting back up.
It's one of my besties.
Tell her good morning.
Good morning, Molina, my queen. I love you.
Gemma says, yes, lady sister. That's a way I limit my sensory overload and anxiety. It's taken me years to get to this point, but I'm still learning through.
She's still learning though.
Oh, sorry. I'm on a journey. I'm on a journey of self-acceptance and discovery.
Yes.
Very important. Good morning, Melina said.
Good morning, baby. What was that last thing that you were just touching, Lady Spellbreaker? If you recall.
I don't.
Okay, it's okay. Obviously, I don't
no
know.
idea.
So.
You know what you were talking about before?
Because I had some I was going to say, and I forget.
Before the tornado.
Now.
Yeah. Oh, the power of now going off in the.
Yeah, but then you said something that triggered, but it's okay. We'll pick it up.
I have no idea. If it'll come back if it's important, it always does.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you were talking about emotions stored in the body, and I was talking about choking things back when the tornado siren went off.
Mm-hmm.
When we stuff our feelings and don't say how we're really feeling, when we become a doormat for someone and let people walk all over our feelings, when we don't speak up for ourselves, that is also suppressing. And in that book, The Body Keeps the Score, I'm learning so much from my comedic yoga instructor and the trauma-informed yoga that I share on my community tab about how stress and tension and emotions and energy form knots in our fascia, in our muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And not only can we have an energy blockage, but it will form if even poor posture. You'll notice me a lot trying to sit upright because I actually was having stabbing pains up the back of my skull because there was so much tension in my shoulders. And I do shoulder opening yoga. I literally do moves where it's pulling my shoulders back because we sit like this.
I do
and
this.
That's actually blocking up our heart chakra.
Yep, absolutely.
And so you'll notice me a lot more. I quit going live twice a day, staring in my camera sideways because I was having muscle spasms in between my wing, my shoulder, and my spine. And there were knots there. And I didn't have anybody to dig out that knot with their thumb. I got a deep tissue massager. And I was down for days. I was forced to do breath work 4 times a day to help my body relax. And I was doing yoga for neck and shoulder pain. It's like my body forced me to listen closely.
Yeah, to listen and then to also speak, because if we speak to ourselves and if we speak to that knot and we speak to all the surrounding tissue as we're doing the work, but it will respond and work with us too, And that's the power of healing in general. Like we can talk to ourselves when we're sick, get to the roots of it. Every time I take the time and I pray over my juice as I'm making my juice, and then as I'm, drinking the shot of wheatgrass and I'm watching it hit and ping and my cells are having this party, and I'm like, yes, baby, allocate to all the appropriate systems and functions, and, let all my cells just absorb this, like this medicine. And it's like, we talk to it. We talk to ourselves and they respond. And so, yeah, same idea. I mean, the same thing, taking what you're saying with the movement and the stretching and then adding in also listening, but then speaking.
And I want to say, okay, so your typical person coming in to hear what she just said is going to say, what? You're crazy. But okay, if we
this is why I love you guys.
Look at science. We've thought for generations that plants don't have any correlation to any living, right? But we know that they react to being talked down to, they react to being talked up, they react to music, they even have their own voice. We just can't hear it. So if you think that way with a living cell, we know that it's alive. We know these things that we said we didn't, that the plants weren't. If the plants can do it, our individual cells can do it at an even bigger level.
We are a consciousness in human form, right? And then each of our cells are their own individualized consciousness within, our mechanism here. And then we are conscious beings, but then we are also the little cells, that are coming together to form the health of Mother Earth, of the planet. So if you look at it all, and if we can speak to each other, our cells are constantly speaking to each other to make this whole thing work. It just makes sense. And I've witnessed it. I've literally talked a 1-inch shard of glass out of my foot because I didn't want to go to the hospital. And I talked so much love to it. That's a whole nother story for another time, but it literally worked its way out with my attention and my energy.
Hey, Lady Spellbreaker, she says this all the time.
Highly intelligent spiritual
human.
That's what I always say. Yes, beings. There was something else I was just gonna get at. No, it's okay.
So it is that time. I don't
want to go.
Stephanie, Lady Spellbreaker, whichever you guys want to go first. Let's what do you want to leave the people with? What's our final thoughts for the week?
Well, I think what I'd like to go off of what she was just saying, that the words and the power, what we think, it starts with our thoughts before it even comes out in the word, can process that. And so I tell everybody to make sure they give themselves as much love. Give yourself as much love or more than you freely give to everyone else. Give yourself as much affection of your time, attention, care. Hold space for yourself and talk good to yourself, everyone, because we are such amazing beings. And I'm so very blessed to have come here today. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, because I know you don't come up on a lot, and I appreciate you feeling comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 people, I think, or it's you two. It's 2 different people, on a screen. This is a good amount where, and you guys are on the same level, and it went very well. So thank you.
Yeah. So I'll just kind of add in right there with what she was saying. It really does. So yes, speaking the word, but like she said, it does not start there. It starts with the thought. It starts with holding the feeling and speaking it. And our words are sound vibration, and it's our words are sound vibration, and the way that we put words together to create this certain vibration that we're sending out is affecting the molecular structure of everything around us. So that's the whole concept of vibing on purpose. There's multiple layers to that, but one I'll throw out there is when we intentionally curate our vibration through thought, feeling, emotion, through our actions, our deeds, what we're offering out into the world, that is our energetic expression. And that energy, that vibration is affecting everything around you, and it's a butterfly effect going out. So you are literally affecting the molecular structure of speaking into water, anything. And so I was just telling Josh what I wanted to do.
Because everything's
was-
vibration.
Yes, everything is vibration. So I want to do the apple experiment on camera with you guys. So I think next week I'm going to bring an apple. We're going to cut it in half, and we're going to talk love to it all week. One half, and we're going to talk shit to the other one all week. And it's going to come from the same apple. So, you know, same chemical structure there. But and we're gonna watch, you know, when you speak love into living things and when you speak hate. And yeah, we're gonna do that. So we're gonna leave on that thought. So just be mindful of your thoughts and what you're putting out into the universe.
And
It's affecting everyone and everything.
as the caterpillar says to Alice, who are you? Right?
Who am I?
Who are you?
Who am I?
Not your name, but who are you? All right. Love you guys.
Love you.
Thanks
Love
for
you.
coming
Bye.
in, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.